the matter as soon as possible because we know people are waiting to know what direction we're going to be going. And I can assure you at the beginning, we'll be going in the right direction here. But this is a serious conversation. The city budget, as you all know, is our plan for implementing the community's vision of what we want Lincoln to be. Thousands of residents over the years have helped us set the agenda for Lincoln's future. Their guidance so far has resulted in amazing successes. The next city budget must keep us on that pathway forward. The City Council has delivered its budget plan. The laws that govern the budget process provide that we must now decide between the council's plan and the original budget plan offered by our administration. Both plans emphasize keeping our community safe. The council accepted our recommendation to fund 4 new police officers and 6 new firefighter paramedics to enhance public safety. Both plans commit in differing degrees to building the infrastructure that supports growth. The council supported our recommendations to invest in streets and water and wastewater to spur economic growth and job creation. But here is the heart of the difference. Fiscal responsibility is where the plans diverge. By avoiding the tough choices, the council majority threatens the city's financial stability. By focusing on the quick fix, the council majority is ignoring long-term issues that will create permanent structural deficits. The first issue involves the city's telecommunications occupation tax. Rapid advances in technologies have changed consumer habits and increased competition. As a result, the city lost $1.7 million in the 2016-17 budget and must be prepared for even larger reduced revenues in the future. The council had 2 choices to solve this gap: make responsible cuts or increase revenues. They chose neither, ensuring future deficits. Second, the police fire pension is consuming an ever greater portion of the general fund budget. We had to put nearly $8 million in this year's budget in order to meet our financial obligations. When I first took office, that number was only about $3.5 million. The cost to the city has been increasing about $500,000 per year over the last 10 years. This trend is likely to continue. Again, the council did not make sustainable cuts or provide a source of revenue to meet a large challenge that continues to grow. Third, the Emerald Ash Borer will kill nearly all of the city's 14,000 public ash trees over the next several years. We all know this. This crisis is staring us squarely in the face. The price tag is an estimated $2 million a year over 15 years. The council's budget does not adequately deal with the crisis. We know from other communities that any delay now will cost us more in the future. Finally, the council's plan removes $420,000 from the administration's budget that pays debt service on new and replacement streetlights. The council's cut doesn't eliminate these costs. Instead, their choice increases taxpayer interest payments and adds to future budget deficits. The council's actions in these regards were the very definition of the old cliche of kicking the can down the road. Other council actions reduce transparency, accountability, and efficiency. These include the council's last-minute decision to cut almost 1/3 of the Citizen Information Center's budget, as well as elimination of the city's budget officer and the removal of much-needed modern management software. Another troubling aspect of the council's budget is its impact on the community's most important priority, public safety. My budget included not just 6 additional firefighter paramedics, but also a 7th ambulance. Both are badly needed to provide faster emergency service to people in need and ensure better medical outcomes in our growing city. By taking the needed ambulance out of the budget, the council is delaying again on a choice that needs to be made now for our growing community. I cannot, in good conscience, sign a budget I consider fiscally irresponsible. The council majority's budget fails the community in 4 ways. It contributes to a long-term structural deficit. It delays today's obligations to tomorrow. It reduces accountability, transparency, and efficiency, and it harms our emergency services. That's why I am today vetoing that budget. Avoiding tough budget decisions today only serves to make those challenges larger and more expensive tomorrow. This threatens our ability to continue community investments that have made us a great city. My record on this issue is clear. In crafting budgets from the beginning, I have not relied on false solution. I have made hard choices, both to increase revenues and to initiate major cuts, including more than 100 jobs since I took office. We have not ducked or flinched. This balanced approach is one of the reasons Lincoln is touted in 24/7 Wall Street website as one of the best managed cities in the country. We have a AAA bond rating, which is a statement of our commitment to fiscal responsibility held by only the most financially sound cities in the nation. Our reputation, thank you, Steve Hubka, for financial responsibility provides numerous financial advantages to Lincoln taxpayers, and I cannot and will not jeopardize that reputation. As I said last week, my oath to the people of Lincoln is to do what's right for our future, even if it isn't politically popular. Failing to address problems and allowing them to get bigger and more expensive is not what's right for Lincoln's citizens. Now the road ahead is difficult. 4 elected officials of the council's majority support the council's budget, and 4 elected officials, the council minority and I, support the administration's budget. We are deadlocked. Fortunately, the law outlines what happens next in this case. When the mayor exercises his authority to veto the budget, the council has the opportunity to break the deadlock with 5 votes to override the mayor's veto. If they cannot, the mayor's budget becomes the law. I understand the city council majority may be hesitant to vote for a property tax levy for the levy necessary to support the adopted budget after the veto. But the law is clear. If the council does not have the 5 votes necessary to pass their version of the budget, the mayor's proposed budget is the city's adopted budget. The charter states that the adopted budget shall become the basis for the property tax rates for the ensuing biennial period. That is how the law resolves the deadlock and allows us to move ahead. Some are questioning the legal opinion of the city attorney's office that supports this position. They suggest that the opinion is politically motivated. They say other attorneys do not agree. I would remind them that the opinion was authored by one of the most respected legal minds in our generation, and a man whose integrity is beyond reproach. John Hendry was the Chief Justice of the Nebraska Supreme Court before he became the city attorney. Anyone who knows Judge Henry knows that he would have resigned his position as city attorney rather than offer an opinion which he did not believe in. I believe the current language provides a clear and fair process for our citizens. However, if the council members think the law should be changed for future budgets, they can take steps to change it. That is the American way. But until the charter is changed, we must all follow the law. That also is the American way. I am confident that the city council majority will do their duty and follow the law, and I am confident that the budget adopted will best serve the citizens of this community, and I am confident that after putting this budget issue behind us, the council and I will work together to continue moving our community forward. That is the Lincoln way. So, with that, I think I'll stop and open it up to questions. I might just make a little comment on history. Before I was mayor and had time to read things that I liked to read instead of things that I needed to read, I like to read a lot of history. And I was always captivated by the idea that history repeats itself. I think those of us who have been involved in that kind of reading see it time and time and time again. And it doesn't matter whether you're working on the global scale or you're working right down on the local scale. There's a tendency for it to happen and happen and happen again, and it's good stuff and it's also bad stuff. When we came into office in 2007 and 2008, you will recall the main campaign theme was about an unstructured budget. A budget where revenues and expenses didn't meet, where people kept authorizing one-time money for ongoing expenses, and pretty soon we didn't have capital to buy fire trucks and all sorts of things. And we have spent the last 8-9 years now getting past that, getting past the Great Recession, getting past that kind of crap in the budget. And we're doing things right. And now we've had 3 people on the city council who have had the courage to stand up and say, we can't go back there. We've got to straighten this deteriorating budget out now, ahead of the problem, and not let structural imbalance come along again historically and cause decay and lack of progress in the city. And so I am so pleased that 3 members of the city council had the courage to do the right thing, the next right thing on their agenda. And I'm here today to support those 3 because I believe what they did is the right thing, and I know from my own experience what we're doing today is the right thing. Questions?
Has a mayor ever vetoed a budget that you know of?
Pardon me?
Has a mayor ever vetoed a budget that you know of?
You know, I haven't had a lot of time for history in the last few days, Nancy. Thank you for the question, though.
There's been discussion of a legal challenge. Do you anticipate the council is going to legally challenge this, going to keep going with it?
Well, you know, I haven't talked to them directly on it, so I'm just talking off the cuff. But I think all of the council people take the laws very seriously. And I think as they examine the situation, they will see that there's not much room for legal doubt here. I could be wrong. And I think they'll do the right thing. And I think they'll set the levy as it should be set. And we'll go on to the next problem. I think one of the things that has been so good about Lincoln's progress in recent times is the cooperation that's existed among a large variety of groups. And by virtue of that cooperation, so much time is saved. I can't tell you how much time is saved. And by saving that time, you can move ahead faster on things. Not move ahead more carelessly, but just move ahead faster when people are cooperating. And so I'm hoping that they will talk to people they trust, and I'm hoping the people they trust will indicate what I believe, which is that this is not a serious legal question. The law is fairly clear. All right. You good to go? Thank you very much.